Hi everyone, I'm Ava Lipari. A little bit about me right away. I am from Fargo. I am a recent MSUM grad. I graduated in 2019 with a public relations major and a mass communications minor. So I'm really excited to be able to do this. Just jumping right in, I chose PR personally because I was interested in a more like human based communication type of career. I always thought it was really interesting how a lot of my classes personally were based more off of projects and small groups and small discussions instead of like, here's the question and there's only one correct answer. I really like that there's multiple answers, like you can have an idea about something and the person in your group has a completely different perspective, but you both can be right. And I think that's really interesting and it can bring a lot of creativity to something if you're working on a campaign for a brand or something like that. So that's kind of why I was drawn to PR. Class wise, I followed the normal curriculum for public relations, but I would say like photography and the more like graphic comm and graphic design classes are super beneficial. Even though I'm not a photographer and I'm not a graphic designer, having those skills can be great because you can be asked to do something for like maybe a one-off project, and having that skill you can be like, oh yeah, I can do that, and you're kind of like a one-stop shop and it makes everybody's life easier. And just for like personal use too, just having a little knowledge here and there can be really helpful and useful. And they're fun. Photography, you can be creative, and same with graphic design. It's just something fun you can do in your free time as well. So yeah, looking past that, internships. I interned for Lake Life Hospitality Group. They own Zorba's and all those restaurants in the Detroit Lakes area. I was their social media intern, so I would go to locations for live music or events or anything like that, and video, Instagram stories, Facebook Live, stuff like that. Just collect content for their social media channels. And it was really fun. I never knew that that kind of position existed, so that kind of sparked like following the social media path more than the PR path for me personally. Yeah, I really loved it, and I mean, I'm on social media every day, so it just kind of felt like a natural path to follow. So yeah, and then I guess going into that, I now work as a social media coordinator for Flint Group in Fargo. It's a great place to work. I started in October of 2020, so I've only been there like 5 months, but it's been great. It's a weird time to start your first big girl job, of course, but they're super flexible. The company culture is great. Everyone's so helpful and so nice. I just can't ever say enough good things about them. But kind of a look in the day-to-day life, it can kind of depend. I work on different accounts, so it's an agency life, busy, fast-paced, so I have maybe 6 or 7 different client accounts that I work on. So that can consist of monitoring their social media channels, and responding to direct messages and comments, hiding the comments from the trolls, of course, anything like that. And then I'd say a large portion of what I do is content calendars. So basically just a month's worth of content at a time, just, coming up with ideas, doing brainstorms with the client and our team, coming up with copy, images, videos, stuff like that. I just kind of put it all together and we send it to them for approval. And yeah, that's kind of a day-to-day idea look at what we do. It changes a lot, but agency life is busy and you can have something new pop up every day and you always learn something new every day. I think no matter if you want to work at an agency or if you're working in a position where you're kind of the only like marketing social PR person, the skills you need are basically the same. Communication is huge. Basically, my whole job is centered around communicating with the client, communicating with my team, communicating with my boss, communicating with the people that source our images and videos, just having a solid foundation and knowing how to communicate effectively and positively is very helpful. I also think staying organized is a big one. To-do lists and calendars are my friend. They're your friend. Working on 7 different accounts can get confusing, and keeping everything straight can give you a headache. So just writing everything down and staying organized, and like, this needs to go out on this day, and this project is due at the end of the month. Just stuff like that. Kind of like how you would deal with homework or projects in school, kind of just same idea. And then I don't know if it's necessarily a skill, but I've definitely learned just to not take things personally. A lot of what we do is team focused. We have brainstorms and idea meetings, and there are no bad ideas. You can throw out your idea, and it's just because nobody liked it or it didn't get picked doesn't mean it was bad. It just maybe isn't a good fit for the brand or the idea that you're going for. And so I think it's just important that it's not personal, and everybody's been there, everybody's been new. Just don't let it bother you. It's nothing to lose sleep over. You might have a great idea that someone loves the next day. So just don't take things personally, and don't let it get you down. Just keep going. You have plenty of good ideas, and just because one didn't get picked doesn't mean they're all bad, I guess to get into more of like the business side of things, like how we stay informed and watch trends and stuff. To be completely honest, a lot of the time I will just literally Google Twitter platform updates and, see what's new, what's going on. We try to really stay up to date on like the platforms themselves updating, because, like Facebook is always making changes, and, like new Instagram updates and Twitter updates like that. Social Media Today is a good publication we use a lot. I'm just Googling, really. There's no shame in that. And then, being on the platform all the time, obviously, as a user, you can see the updates and just kind of checking it out, instead of like hitting the ignore X button. Just actually take the time to read through it and look at it so you can understand for your clients and for yourself and how to use it every day. I'd say in the last year, especially 2020, just from even a consumer standpoint, brands are really moving away from the whole like, we're a perfect brand, perfect image, like we don't make mistakes. They're moving away from that type of content because that's not what we want to see anymore. We have seen that more like human, vulnerable, honest content does way better for obvious reasons. That's just what people want to see, because we know nobody's perfect, and it's just not realistic to expect a brand to be perfect, So yeah, I think that's been an interesting trend and a great one. I think it holds us all more accountable marketing-wise, and allows us to open up a whole new world for content, People like seeing other people, and I think it's a good trend. So if you are interested in PR, marketing, social media, anything, I think starting with networking is great. High school, college, you can't really start too soon, so hop on LinkedIn. That's a great place to network, just from anything, like professors, peers, colleagues. If you go to like club events or things like that, just reach out to people, connect with them. The worst that's going to happen is they're not going to reply. So you can't really go wrong there. I think just knowing people and like knowing people that know people can be really beneficial in, you know, landing that first job or your first internship. Yeah, so just don't be afraid to reach out and just ask someone like, hey, I'm really interested in what you do. Would you mind having virtual coffee with me sometime just to give me a rundown of what your day looks like? Yeah, it's not scary. Yeah, and going off that, don't hesitate or be afraid to reach out to me. You can find me on LinkedIn. I'd be happy to chat with anybody. Just send me a message. I know my colleagues and my bosses at Flint love doing virtual coffee type stuff too. So reach out to any of us. We're friendly. We're nice. And I guess if I have any advice to give, I would just say it's okay if you don't know. Like, I changed my major 2 or 3 times. I was undeclared for a while. I didn't know what I wanted to do, but I just took different classes until I figured it out, and I found the one. And yeah, career-wise as well, I graduated in 2019, and I think it was almost a year and a half until I found a job. And obviously, COVID played a factor in that, but like, it's okay. You don't have to land that like huge job the day after graduation. Just don't put too much pressure on yourself, because it's going to be okay. And people are there to talk to you, to give you advice. Just don't be afraid to reach out and take a deep breath and shut the laptop and turn off the phone sometimes and just relax, I guess would be my advice. Yeah, so thanks for having me and inviting me to do this. Like I said, if anyone has questions or just wants to chat and learn more, feel free to send me a message. Thanks.